The handshake became a defining image, not of defeat or victory, but of unity, not of fear, but of the power of moral persuasion among those who seek to govern. Between 2015 and 2025, the National Peace Committee expanded its reach, guiding Nigeria through moments of political tension and uncertainty. In that decade, the committee facilitated 5 national peace accords ahead of the general elections, 1 in 2015, 2 in 2019, and 2 more in 2023, each marking a commitment to political tension, strengthened democratic institutions, and encouraged dialogue over violence, proving that peace is not just an ideal, but a practice that must be renewed with every election. In 2023, Nigeria faced yet another test, a year clouded by insecurity, economic hardship, and growing mistrust in governance. Tensions were high and hope seemed fragile, yet, once again, the National Peace Committee rose to the challenge, standing as a beacon of calm in uncertain times. From its Situation Room, the committee watched closely as events unfolded across the nation. It engaged security agencies, mediated political disputes, and reached out to leaders and citizens alike, reminding all that peace is not the duty of one person, but the responsibility of all. Through quiet diplomacy and moral courage, the NPC's steady presence reassured a nation on edge, proving once again that peace is possible where leadership listens and unity prevails. Peace does not begin in conference halls. It begins in the heart of citizens and the wombs of communities. With support from the European Union, the Swiss Embassy, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office FCDO, Open Society Foundation, Africa and other partners, the NPC has established the independent state-based peace architectures in 23 states of Nigeria, including Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Gombe, Imo, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. The committee has empowered over 400 local peace ambassadors and reached more than 60 million Nigerians through civic engagements and the media. These efforts have contributed to de-escalating violence before it starts, mediating conflicts, and strengthening trusts between citizens, leaders, and institutions. In 2025, the NPC began the operationalization of the Election Security Information Hub, a virtual repository that collects and analyzes real-time election security data to identify flashpoints, prevent violence, and guide rapid and legal responses by INEC, civil society, and security agencies. By integrating early warning systems and community intelligence, the hub is not only saving lives, it is redefining how peace is built in an age of uncertainty, strengthening evidence-based intervention strategies. From the handshake that changed history to the technology that secures tomorrow, the National Peace Committee remains the heartbeat of Nigeria's democracy. Its work, rooted in moral courage, neutrality, non-partisanship, and human dignity, continues to inspire hope in every election, every community, and every citizen. Our democracy will endure when every Nigerian believes that peace is worth protecting over and above all sectional claims. National Peace Committee, bridging divides, safeguarding democracy, and keeping faith with the promise of peace. Its journey continues as Nigeria's beacon of peace, dialogue, and democratic stability. . In Nigeria, where democracy was once overshadowed by violence and mistrust, and analysts predicted the complete disintegration of the country, a group of distinguished Nigerians rose to become the guardians of peace. This is the story of the National Peace Committee, the moral conscience of Nigeria's democracy. In the aftermath of the 2011 general elections, violence tore across communities, leaving more than 800 dead, with deep scars on Nigeria's young democracy. But from the chaos, hope was born. A group of respected Nigerians, leaders of conscience and faith, in January 2015, for the first time, presidential candidates signed a peace accord, pledging to conduct peaceful campaigns and accept the election results in good faith. That symbolic handshake between President Goodluck Jonathan and General Muhammadu Buhari became a turning point, ensuring one of the most peaceful transitions of power in Nigeria's history. The handshake became a defining image, not of defeat or victory, but of unity, not of fear, but of the power of moral persuasion among those who seek to govern. Between 2015 and 2025, the National Peace Committee expanded its reach, guiding Nigeria through moments of political tension and uncertainty. In that decade, the committee facilitated 5 national peace accords ahead of the general elections, 1 in 2015, 2 in 2019, and 2 more in 2023, each marking a commitment to peaceful democratic transitions. The NPC's influence reached deeper into the states. In the 2019 election cycle, it facilitated the signing of 8 off-cycle peace accords, and 6 off-cycle peace accords were signed in 2023, promoting tolerance and collaboration across party lines. Through its independent, state-based peace architectures, 4 more peace accords were signed in 2019 and 5 were signed in 2023, empowering local actors to build trust within their communities. These accords have reduced political tension, strengthened democratic institutions, and encouraged dialogue over violence, proving that peace is not just an ideal, but a practice that must be renewed with every election. In 2023, Nigeria faced yet another test, a year clouded by insecurity, economic hardship, and not the duty of one person, but the responsibility of all. Through quiet diplomacy and moral courage, the NPC's steady presence reassured a nation on edge, proving once again that peace is possible where leadership listens and unity prevails. Peace does not begin in conference halls. It begins in the heart of citizens and the wombs of Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. The committee has empowered over 400 local peace ambassadors and reached more than 60 million Nigerians through civic engagements and the media. These efforts have contributed to de-escalating violence before it starts, mediating conflicts and strengthening trusts between citizens, leaders, and institutions. In 2025, the NPC began the operationalization of the Election Security Information Hub, a virtual repository that collects and analyzes real-time election security data to identify flashpoints, prevent violence, and guide rapid and legal responses by INEC, civil society, and security agencies. By integrating early warning systems and community intelligence, the hub is not only saving lives, it is redefining how peace is built in an age of uncertainty, strengthening evidence-based intervention strategies. From the handshake that changed history to the technology that secures tomorrow, The National Peace Committee remains the heartbeat of Nigeria's democracy. Its work, rooted in moral courage, neutrality, non-partisanship, and human dignity, continues to inspire hope in every election, every community, and every citizen. Our democracy will endure when every Nigerian believes that peace is worth protecting over and above all sectional claims. National Peace Committee, bridging divides, safeguarding democracy, and keeping faith with the promise of peace. Its journey continues as Nigeria's beacon of peace, dialogue, and democratic stability. In Nigeria, where democracy was once overshadowed by violence and mistrust, and analysts predicted the complete disintegration of the country, a group of distinguished Nigerians rose to become the guardians of peace. This is the story of the National Peace Committee, the moral conscience of Nigeria's democracy. In the aftermath of the 2011 general elections, violence tore across communities, leaving more than 800 dead, with deep scars on Nigeria's young democracy. But from the chaos, hope was born. A group of respected Nigerians, leaders of conscience and faith, came together to form what would become the moral compass of the nation's democratic journey, the National Peace Committee, NPC. Founded in 2014, chaired by General Abdul Salami A. Abubakar, GCFR, and convened by Bishop Matthew Hassan Kukah, CON, the National Peace Committee emerged as a non-partisan platform to support free, fair, and credible elections, resolving conflicts that have the potential to impact negatively on elections. Guided by principles of neutrality, integrity, and patriotism, the NPC became a bridge between political rivals and a symbol of hope for millions of Nigerians. The 2015 general election was a turning point as Nigeria witnessed history. In January 2015, for the first time, presidential candidates signed a peace accord, pledging to conduct peaceful campaigns and accept the election results in good faith. That symbolic handshake between President Goodluck Jonathan and General Muhammadu Buhari became a turning point, ensuring one of the most peaceful transitions of power in Nigeria's history. The handshake became a defining image, not of defeat or victory, but of unity, not of fear, but of the power of moral persuasion among those who seek to govern. Between 2015 and 2025, the National Peace Committee expanded its reach, guiding Nigeria through moments of political tension and uncertainty. In that decade, the committee facilitated 5 national peace accords ahead of the general elections, 1 in 2015, 2 in 2019, and 2 more in 2023, each marking a commitment to peaceful democratic transitions. The NPC's influence reached deeper into the states. In the 2019 election cycle, it facilitated the signing of 8 off-cycle peace accords, and 6 off-cycle peace accords were signed in 2023, promoting tolerance and collaboration across party lines. Through its independent, state-based peace architectures, 4 more peace accords were signed in 2019 and 5 were signed in 2023, empowering local actors to build trust within their communities. These accords have reduced political tension, strengthened democratic institutions, and encouraged dialogue over violence, proving that peace is not just an ideal, but a practice that must be renewed with every election. In 2023, Nigeria faced yet another test a year clouded by insecurity, economic hardship, and growing mistrust in governance. Tensions were high and hope seemed fragile, yet, once again, the National Peace Committee rose to the challenge, standing as a beacon of calm in uncertain times. From its Situation Room, the committee watched closely as events unfolded across the nation. It engaged security agencies, mediated political disputes, and reached out to leaders and citizens alike, reminding all that peace is not the duty of one person, but the responsibility of all. Through quiet diplomacy and moral courage, the NPC's steady presence reassured a nation on edge, proving once again that peace is possible where leadership listens and unity prevails. Peace does not begin in conference halls. It begins in the heart of citizens and the wombs of communities. With support from the European Union, the Swiss Embassy, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office FCDO, Open Society Foundation, Africa and other partners, the NPC has established the independent state-based peace architectures in 23 states of Nigeria, including Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Gombe, Imo, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. The committee has empowered over 400 local peace ambassadors and reached more than 60 million Nigerians through civic engagements and the media. These efforts have contributed to de-escalating violence before it starts, mediating conflicts and strengthening trusts between citizens, leaders, and institutions. In 2025, the NPC began the operationalization of the Election Security Information Hub, a virtual repository that collects and analyzes real-time election security data to identify flashpoints, prevent violence, and guide rapid and legal responses by INEC, civil society, and security agencies. By integrating early warning systems and community intelligence, the hub is not only saving lives, it is redefining how peace is built in an age of uncertainty, strengthening evidence-based intervention strategies. From the handshake that changed history to the technology that secures tomorrow, the National Peace Committee remains the heartbeat of Nigeria's democracy. Its work, rooted in moral courage, neutrality, non-partisanship, and human dignity, continues to inspire hope in every election, every community, and every citizen. Our democracy will endure when every Nigerian believes that peace is worth protecting over and above all sectional claims. National Peace Committee, bridging divides, safeguarding democracy, and keeping faith with the promise of peace. Its journey continues as Nigeria's beacon of peace, dialogue, and democratic stability. In Nigeria, where democracy was once overshadowed by violence and mistrust, and analysts predicted the complete disintegration of the country, a group of distinguished Nigerians rose to become the guardians of peace. This is the story of the National Peace Committee, the moral conscience of Nigeria's democracy. In the aftermath of the 2011 general elections, violence tore across communities, leaving more than 800 dead, with deep scars on Nigeria's young democracy. But from the chaos, hope was born. A group of respected Nigerians, leaders of conscience and faith, came together to form what would become the moral compass of the nation's democratic journey, the National Peace Committee, NPC. Founded in 2014, chaired by General Abdul Salami A. Abubakar, GCFR, and convened by Bishop Matthew Hassan Kukah, CON, the National Peace Committee emerged as a non-partisan platform to support free, fair, and credible elections, resolving conflicts that have the potential to impact negatively on elections. Guided by principles of neutrality, integrity, and patriotism, the NPC became a bridge between political rivals and a symbol of hope for millions of Nigerians. The 2015 general election was a turning point as Nigeria witnessed history. In January 2015, for the first time, presidential candidates signed a peace accord, pledging to conduct peaceful campaigns and accept the election results in good faith. That symbolic handshake between President Goodluck Jonathan and General Muhammadu Buhari became a turning point, ensuring one of the most peaceful transitions of power in Nigeria's history. The handshake became a defining image, not of defeat or victory, but of unity, not of fear, but of the power of moral persuasion among those who seek to govern. Between 2015 and 2025, the National Peace Committee expanded its reach, guiding Nigeria through moments of political tension and uncertainty. In that decade, the committee facilitated 5 national peace accords ahead of the general elections, 1 in 2015, 2 in 2019, and 2 more in 2023, each marking a commitment to peaceful democratic transitions. The NPC's influence reached deeper into the states. In the 2019 election cycle, it facilitated the signing of 8 off-cycle peace accords, and 6 off-cycle peace accords were signed in 2023, promoting tolerance and collaboration across party lines. Through its independent, state-based peace architectures, 4 more peace accords were signed in 2019 and 5 were signed in 2023, empowering local actors to build trust within their communities. These accords have reduced political tension, strengthened democratic institutions, and encouraged dialogue over violence, proving that peace is not just an ideal, but a practice that must be renewed with every election. In 2023, Nigeria faced yet another test, a year clouded by insecurity, economic hardship, and growing mistrust in governance. Tensions were high and hope seemed fragile, yet, once again, the National Peace Committee rose to the challenge, standing as a beacon of calm in uncertain times. From its Situation Room, the committee watched closely as events unfolded across the nation. It engaged security agencies, mediated political disputes, and reached out to leaders and citizens alike, reminding all that peace is not the duty of one person, but the responsibility of all. Through quiet diplomacy and moral courage, the NPC's steady presence reassured a nation on edge, proving once again that peace is possible where leadership listens and unity prevails. Peace does not begin in conference halls. It begins in the heart of citizens and the wombs of communities. With support from the European Union, the Swiss Embassy, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office FCDO, Open Society Foundation, Africa, and other partners, the NPC has established the independent state-based peace architectures in 23 states of Nigeria, including Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Gombe, Imo, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Oyo, Sokoto, Taraba, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. The committee has empowered over 400 local peace ambassadors and reached more than 60 million Nigerians through civic engagements and the media. These efforts have contributed in Nigeria, where democracy was once overshadowed by violence and mistrust, and analysts predicted the complete disintegration of the country, a group of distinguished Nigerians rose to become the guardians of peace. This is the story of the National Peace Committee, the moral conscience of Nigeria's democracy. In the aftermath of the 2011 general elections, violence tore across communities, leaving more than 800 dead, with deep scars on Nigeria's young democracy. But from the chaos, hope was born. A group of respected Nigerians, leaders of conscience and faith, came together to form what would become the moral compass of the nation's democratic journey, the National Peace Committee, NPC. Founded in 2014, chaired by General Abdul Salami A. Abubakar, GCFR, and convened by Bishop Matthew Hassan Kukah, CON, the National Peace Committee emerged as a non-partisan platform to support free, fair, and credible elections, resolving conflicts that have the potential to impact negatively on elections. Guided by principles of neutrality, integrity, and patriotism, the NPC became a bridge between political rivals and a symbol of hope for millions of Nigerians. The 2015 general election was a turning point as Nigeria witnessed history. In January 2015, for the first time, presidential candidates signed a peace accord, pledging to conduct peaceful campaigns and accept the election results in good faith. That symbolic handshake between President Goodluck Jonathan and General Muhammadu Buhari became a turning point, ensuring one of the most peaceful transitions of power in Nigeria's history. The handshake became a defining image, not of defeat or victory, but of unity, not of fear, but of the power of moral persuasion among those who seek to govern. Between 2015 and 2025, the National Peace Committee expanded its reach, guiding Nigeria through moments of political tension and uncertainty. In that decade, the committee facilitated 5 national peace accords ahead of the general elections, 1 in 2015,
Thank you.
2 in 2019, and 2 more in 2023.
Thank you.
Each marking a commitment to peaceful democracy.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you are here for this event, we kindly ask you to come in and have your seats as we're about to begin. If you are still out there and you're for this event, the signing of the peace accord in Anambra State, we kindly request that you come in and have your seats. Thank you. How to recognize the guest? Okay. Can we be upstanding for the national anthem? Okay. Okay. We'll take the national anthem in just a few minutes. In a few minutes, we'll take the national anthem. Thank you very much. For those of us still outside, we kindly ask you to come in and have your seats. Thank you.
No. Bishop Kukah is not. Now where's the country? Where did you see? Where did you come?
This is a new one.
Come. So, Martin Luther Agwai is the one representing who?
The general.
That's Abdul Salami Abubakar.
Abubakar, yes.
So the list begins with Abdul Salami Abubakar.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So
you started.
So we introduce the National Peace Committee after the Anambra anthem.
Okay.
We do a small this is when you come in, do a small background. The chairman of the committee, which is one of the after we now introduce Kukah. After Kukah, we introduce the governor. From the governor, we now start introducing all other contestants.
No, don't worry, I'll do that. Since I'm part of them. So what I do, when I introduce you have the list just to introduce, right? I recognize the head of state, the bishop, okay? You go right to recognize the INEC, understand?
Is he here?
Hmm?
Is he here? The next chairman.
Yeah, he's
I'm
here.
going to call his name.
Yeah, you recognize him.
And
And then the IGS, okay?
is he represented by someone?
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think now that His Excellency is seated, we can now begin with the national anthem. After that, we'll take the Anambra anthem. At the count of three, please, may we be on our feet? Thank you very much.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
The Anambra State anthem.
With all our hearts, we pray and ask, God bless Anambra, God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine. With our sweat and blood, every breath of our lives, with trust in God, we will lift our homeland high. We believe in togetherness, we'll build a land of progress. Lift the spirit of Anambra, lift the spirit of Anambra, lift the spirit of Anambra, states we love.
May we be seated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to this very important event. And to commence and to anchor this event, we have with us.
Uche Chukwu Ebonam.
And I'm Dr. Emmanuel Nkanta. At this point, for some of us who probably it's our first time attending such an event, just to say that the Peace Accord is one of those events that brings us together, not just as a people, but of course, in this case, as Anambarians, as people who are desirous of building a better world, as people who are desirous of making significant change, especially at a time like this. These changes, of course, as we could see, was really chronicled in the national anthem and the Anambra State anthem. And it is for this purpose that we are all gathered here today. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll go straight to the protocol, after which we will stand on existing protocol to save time. As we are very much aware, the National Peace Committee are made up of credible members, people who have been working for the past years to ensure that we build a better Nigeria, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of race. It doesn't really matter where you come from, whether from the north, south, east, and west. The most important thing is that we are first and foremost human beings, and that is what matters here. And so it is on that we really want to recognize a former head of state and the chairman of the National Peace Committee in the person of General Busalami Abubakar, GCFR, who is the MPC chairman, here ably represented by General Martin Luther Agwai, CFR. Please a round of applause as we welcome him in a special way.
Also is the National Peace Committee Vice Chairman Oko Ebitu Okiwe. Please welcome him to this event.
And since we are beginning with the National Peace Committee, since this event is convened by this body, we also want to make welcome in a special way the convener of the National Peace Committee, a very respected bishop one whose voice still heralds the voices of peace across the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let us make welcome Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kukah, the Bishop of Soludo Diocese and the Convener of the National Peace Committee, Matthew Hassan Kukah, OON. A round of applause, please.
And also with us is the head NPC Secretariat, Father Atta Barkindo, PhD. You're welcome as well to this amazing event. Please a round of applause for Father. Seated as well with us is the Honorable Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Ojo Amupitan, SAN. You're welcome to this event.
And we also have the INEC National Commissioners. For want of time, we'll run through the name. We have Mrs. May Agbumachem, yes, from the North Central. Muhammad Aruna, Dr. Ken, yes, the National Commissioners. Dr. Ken Ukagu.
We also have National Commissioner Sam Olumikun, National Commissioner Mohammed Haruna, National Commissioner Professor Abdullahi Zuru, National Commissioner Professor Sunday Aja, National Commissioner Dr. Baba Bila, National Commissioner Professor Sani Adam. We have Queen Dr. Elizabeth Agwo, the Anambra State Rec. Please a round of applause for these amazing officers seated right here with us this afternoon. Also with us is the Inspector General of Police, Nigerian Police Force, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, PhD, NPM. You're welcome.
A round of applause, please. We can do better with that club. We say police is our friend, and of course, security is very much important.
Yes, security is everyone's business.
Yeah.
Also, see that we have amazing other dignitaries seated with us, and in due time, we'll do well to recognize all this afternoon. Most especially, we want to welcome the Governor of Anambra State, Executive Governor, His Excellency, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, what people call Olo Atuegu. You're welcome to this.
A round of applause, please. You're welcome, Your Excellency.
Good day, Master.
All right, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, having recognized, of course, the governor, it is also important to make us understand that this event is also predominantly and also a unique event set aside for members of political parties and chairmen and candidates of these parties. And because these are the ones, these are the leaders, these are the ones we look up to build a better Anambra State. And so please let us make welcome as we run through the list of the parties, the candidates, and the chairman here. Okay.
Party candidates we have seated with us from the Accord Party. We have Chief Onyeze Chidi Charles, the gubernatorial candidate for Accord Party. Is he here with us? Also with us is Nweke Ezechukwu Jeffert, the gubernatorial candidate of Action Alliance. Please indicate. You're welcome. Ife Meludike Chioma Grace, the gubernatorial candidate for African Action Congress, AAC. You're welcome. Bikokana Kunaka. Oh, let's acknowledge them. Oh, on your kulota sikoliak, all these bumba. It's not easy. We have Ngosu Chima John, the gubernatorial candidate for Action Democratic Congress, ADC. Also is Ukachukwu Nicholas, the gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Also with us is Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Also is Oti Cyprian Echezona, the gubernatorial candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM. Is he here? Also is Nweke Christopher Chukwudubem for the Action People's Party, APP. Okeke Chika Jerry, the gubernatorial candidate for Boot Party, BP. Chief Dr. George Nadubem Moralo, the gubernatorial candidate for Labour Party. Also with us is Colonel Professor Geoffrey Onyejebu, the gubernatorial candidate for the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Also is Honorable Ndidi Christie Olie, the gubernatorial candidate for the National Rescue Movement, NRM. Chief Ezenwafo Jude for the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Chukwura Vincent of the Social Democratic Party, SDP. Also is with us is Sir Paul Chukwuma of the Young Progressives Party, YPP. And finally, the last but not the least is Ugwoji Uchenna Martins of the Zenith Labour Party. These are the political candidates for the November 8th Anambra State governorship election, which is 5 days down the line. And also with us are amazing political party chairmen, seated right behind their party candidates. Please, a round of applause for all these people who we have here today with us. And not forgetting religious and traditional institutions, we want to say a huge thank you to you for gracing this occasion. We see you and we appreciate your presence. Also the CSOs, CBOs, FBOs, and other associations seated right here. If you keep going through them, amen, I am, and not today. We're not going to go today. So we'll do as much as possible to say welcome. Wherever you are seen, and we appreciate all your efforts to make Nigeria a better place. Thank you so very much. Before we do forget, we have with us in our midst the chairman, Anambra State Traditional Rulers Council, the traditional ruler of Obosi Kingdom, Anambra State, His Royal Majesty Igwe Chudubem Iweka III, Ogala Gidi. We say welcome to this event as well. Dalo no.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least, and to save time, you would permit us, as we progress, we would do well to recognize important guests, VIPs as they come in. But until then, of course, you know that when you walked into this building, you realized that we are the armed security men all around, even down to the street. And that's to say, we really commend the work of the police. And it is on that note I want to also recognize, we wish to say welcome to the CP, Ikyoye Orutugu. Please, a round of applause for the CP and the work you're doing. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we get started and go straight to the business of the day.
Yes, very important. Moving straight to the goodwill messages this moment because we do not have much time. But before that, to have the welcome remarks.
And to do the welcome remarks, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please let us make welcome to the podium one you know so much, and one whose voice, of course, as far as this event is concerned, has been working tirelessly to ensure that this event takes place. Also because we stand for peace.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's make welcome Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kukah, the Bishop of Soludo Diocese. Okay, my Lord. And to do the remark, I think at this point we want to invite just a little adjustment to the program as we call on General Martin Agwai to come forward to speak to us. Please, a round of applause.
Please keep clapping
that
until
clap
it comes
is
up
not
to
enough
the
for
stage.
General Martin Luther Agwai. We can do better. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, distinguished candidates and representatives of political parties, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor J.O. Amupitan, son, and the national chairman, the Inspector General of the Police and head of other organizations, security organizations, esteemed traditional rulers and religious leaders, members of the diplomatic corps, representatives of civil society organizations, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to this gathering. On behalf of the chairman of the National Peace Commission, His Excellency General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR, who conveys his warm greetings and his unwavering commitment to the peace of our nation and what causes peace, justice, and credible election in Anambra and across our nation. We are gathered here for a purpose that rises above all personal ambition or party interest. The signing of this peace accord is solemn declaration that the peace, security, and dignity of the people of Anambra State must remain paramount. Democracy can only thrive where there is restraint, where there is respect for the law, and where human life is held sacred. Anambra holds a special place in our country, rich in heritage, leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation. The conduct of this election, therefore, carries meaning far beyond the borders of this state. It must be remembered that as an example of maturity, fairness, and respect for democratic processes. To the distinguished candidates and political parties, today's commitment is not in words only. It is a duty that calls for discipline, honor, and responsibility. Leadership is not only in seeking office, but in safeguarding peace and ensuring that there is no life is put at risk. To INEC, we urge continued transparency and readiness, for the trust of the people rests greatly on your conduct. To the IGP and all security agencies, we appeal for professionalism, impartiality, and calm assurance. The purpose of security is to protect and not to intimidate. It is to our respected traditional rulers and religious leaders, we recognize your role as custodian of wisdom and unity. Your voices of guidance will be needed to uphold peace within our communities. To the media, we appeal for reporting that informs and builds understanding, and not reporting that stirs fear or division. Let us all remember that democracy is at its best when it is truly reflects the will of the people. It must be expressed freely, peacefully, and with dignity. When we honor these principles, we protect not only the ballot, but the peace and stability of our society. On behalf of the National Peace Committee, I thank each of you for your presence and your commitment. May our actions today contribute to a peaceful and credible election, one that reflects the true aspirations of the people of Anambra. Before I sit down, I also plead to the people, the good people of Anambra and everybody involved in this election to give me a birthday gift. And that birthday gift is my birthday is on the 8th of November, the day of your election. Please let there be peace. May God bless Anambra State, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very brief welcome remark. We also have with us in our presence the Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim. You're welcome to this event. On that note, we'll move on to the goodwill messages from the Honorable Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. We call on stage Professor Joash Ojo, Amupitan, SAN, to come up on stage for his goodwill message. Please, a round of applause as he comes up stage. Kwanaka, are you clapping or what? You're welcome.
Okay. You know, some of us can be vertically challenged. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, our respected and esteemed former head of state and chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, GCFR, ably represented by no other person than another statesman, General Martin Luther Agwe, CFR, the convener, Reverend Bishop Matthew Hassan Kukah, Your Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukuma Soludo, who is also a candidate, and in that vein, I also want to recognize all the other candidates of all the political parties that are contesting the governorship election in Anambra State on the 8th of November. Very eminent members of the National Peace Committee, let me specially recognize our dear national commissioners from INEC who are also here, the Inspector General of Police, IG Kayode Egbetokun, who is here ably represented by DIG Benjamin Okolo, who is DIG Force Intelligence, the Chairman, Anambra State Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Chudubem Nweka III, the National Chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, the Anambra State Chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, the chairmen of political parties in Anambra State, the resident electoral commissioner, Anambra State, the commissioner of police and members of ISIS, members of the diplomatic corps, religious leaders, civil society organizations, the gentlemen and women of the press, other invited guests. Let me not forget the good citizens of Anambra State, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, I wish to express our sincere appreciation to the chairman and distinguished members of the National Peace Committee for their unwavering commitment to fostering peaceful elections in Nigeria. Your efforts in convening parties, candidates, and stakeholders around a shared vision of peace continue to make immeasurable difference to our democracy. As the Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, I am proud to be part of this signing of the Peace Accord for Anambra State 2025 Governorship of SACU election. I was appointed recently as the INEC chair, and this is going to be my first election. So therefore, I'm determined, I'm committed to ensure that this election is credible, this election is fair, and this election is free and peaceful. Of course, let me also say, as much as we are determined to make it a peaceful election, fair, free, and just, we can only succeed if we have corresponding supports from other stakeholders. And that underscores the import of this peace accord that we are signing today. Now, after witnessing the success of the peace accord at the national level, the National Peace Committee graciously agreed 5 years ago to our request to devolve its signing beyond presidential elections to include off-SACU governorship elections. This became necessary given the tensions and violence that have accompanied some past elections. The first peace accord outside Abuja took place in Edo State prior to the September 2020 governorship election. Since then, similar engagements have been successfully conducted in 7 other states: Ondo in 2020, Anambra in 2021, so this is the second time it will be happening here, Ekiti and Osun in 2022, Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi in 2023, and Edo again in 2024. Encouragingly, parties and candidates largely honor their commitments under the accord, contributing to peaceful outcomes despite pre-elections anxieties. Today, we gather in Anambra State, just days before yet another important governorship election, in which 16 political parties will be participating. As the election management body, I want to reassure all political parties and candidates that INEC will remain fully committed to discharging its duties in line with the law, global best practices, and the very principles enshrined in the peace accord that is about to be endorsed. However, let me emphasize that it is not the signatures on this document that guarantees peace. It is the genuine commitment to honoring its provisions. Without peace, logistics will be disrupted, our personnel and materials put at risk, and ultimately the credibility of the process undermined. Signatures today, please ensure the message cascades to your supporters at all levels. This is the surest way to honor the sacrifice and labor of the NPC in advancing peaceful elections. By signing the peace accord, we are not only affirming our dedication to non-violence and mutual respect among all stakeholders, but we are also sending a strong message to our citizens that democracy thrives when peace prevails. Each one of us has a part to play in this process, and I urge all political parties, candidates, and supporters to adhere to the principles of this accord. not just the principles, but the principles and letters of this accord. Let us work together to ensure that the upcoming election is remembered not for division or discord, but for its spirit of unity and pursuit of common goals. Let us demonstrate to the world that Anambra State is a beacon of hope, resilience, and democratic values. Let me just emphasize that Anambra State is a microcosm Nigeria. So this election is very significant for other elections that will be coming up. For our part, the Commission has taken deliberate steps to address operational challenges and ensure a smooth, credible election across the state. We have extensively engaged our officials, transport providers, and security agencies to fine-tune deployment arrangement for 24,000 personnel and election materials across 5,718 polling units, 326 ward collation centers, 21 local government collation centers, and ultimately the state collation center in Awka. Voters should therefore expect a significant improvement in election day logistics. Enhanced result management process will also be evident. We are determined to commence the poll as we have advertised, and we are ensuring that every logistic challenges are addressed before then. The Commission has approved a final register of 2,802,790 eligible voters for Anambra State governorship election, scheduled for Saturday, 8th November. To facilitate maximum participation, we extended the collation of permanent voters' cards, PVC, until yesterday, Sunday, 2nd November 2025. Our mandate is to deliver credible elections, and we reaffirm our resolve to combat vote buying. Any individual or groups planning to subvert the will of the people will be firmly confronted with the strong hands of the law. The Interagency Consultative Committee on Election, ISES, has constituted a robust security measures for this election. I'm sure the IG will be talking more about that. The Nigerian police will deploy 45,000 personnel, while the Nigerian Civil Society Corps is deploying 10,250 officers, along with other agencies. With the peace accord being signed today, the proactive effort of the security agencies and the valuable contribution of traditional rulers, community and religious leaders, civil society, the media, and other stakeholders, we are confident, by God's grace, that the 2025 Anambra governorship election will be peaceful and successful. May God bless our collective efforts and continue to guide our nation towards enduring peace and democratic process. Thank you all for your commitment to peace, and may this accord guide our actions as we approach this important moment in our democracy. God bless the National Peace Committee. God bless Anambra State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
I was actually thinking we'll do better with our clap. Much, much better. In the words of Prof, we can only support if we have corresponding commitment. And we can do that together. And Prof rounded up by saying he's confident that the 2025 Anambra election will be a successful one. Very importantly, he mentioned that democracy thrives where peace begins. And this is a tenet of our gathering today. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since 2015 to 2019, 2023, the National Peace Committee has been organizing the Peace Accord. And this also transcends to the off-circuit elections. And we were in Anambra State some years ago. We are here today again. And with our collaborative support, we can build a better Anambra State. It is on this note we wish to go straight to the next on our goodwill messages. And to introduce, just before we invite the DIG to come forward, to introduce the AIG, Amupitan Lordship, AIG Zone 13. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much. And on this note, please let us make welcome for the goodwill message, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, PhD, MPM, here represented by DIG Benjamin Okolo. A round of applause as he comes forward. We can do better, please. A round of applause. Thank you very much. I think this is much, much better.
I want to go straight and rest on the well-established protocol. However, I want to, first of all, specially recognize the chairman of the National Peace Commission, former President Absalam Abubakar, GCFR, ably represented by General Martin Luther Agwai, retired. The Honorable Chairman of INEC, Professor Joash, Amupitan, SAN. His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, and other stakeholders, fellow citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This address is the Inspector General's address. This address is to show that police is committed to ensuring that we provide enabling environment in line with best practices to ensure that we have free, fair, and peaceful election. The IG's address. This address represents a constitutional and operational convocation to consolidate our collective commitment to peace, law, and order ahead of the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election scheduled for Saturday, 8 November 2025. The Nigerian Police Force stands prepared to ensure that this democratic exercise unfolds under an atmosphere of absolute security, fairness, and public confidence. As the lead agency for internal security and election management, the Nigerian Police Force fully recognizes its statutory responsibility under Section 4 of the Police Act 2020 to prevent crime, preserve public order, protect lives and property, and enforce all laws with due respect for human rights. Our operations in Anambra are therefore a direct, lawful, and uncompromising implementation of that constitutional mandate. The force acknowledges the sensitivity of elections in a dynamic environment like Anambra State. We are not unmindful of the political, social, and security complexities that often define such contexts. Hence, the Nigerian Police Force has developed an integrated, intelligence-driven operational plan designed to prevent infractions, neutralize threats, and secure the election process from the beginning to the end of the process. This we will do in collaboration with sister security agencies. Let there be no ambiguity. The Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies that will be taking part in the management of election security during this election are apolitical institutions. Our allegiance is not to any political party, candidate, or ideology, but solely to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the sovereign will of the Nigerian electorate. The force shall remain neutral yet assertive, civil yet firm, professional yet unyielding in the discharge of its duties. Any attempt to undermine public peace, manipulate the electoral process, or intimidate voters will be met with stiff, lawful, and proportionate force. We are resolute that under no circumstances would criminality be permitted to masquerade as political expression. The peace of Anambra State is not negotiable, and the integrity of this election will not be compromised. In strict compliance with the Electoral Act 2022, the Nigerian Police Force, serving as the coordinating lead agency, has adequately activated a strong multi-layered deployment plan under the unified command structure of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, ISIS. This deployment is strategically structured to ensure presence, deterrence, and quick response across all 21 local government areas of the state. The operational composition is as follows. The Nigerian Police Force will provide sufficient officers and men who will be deployed to cover all 4,608 polling units, ensuring voter safety, ballot integrity, and the protection of election officials. The armed forces of Nigeria will contribute adequate personnel stationed as strategic tactical reserves along local government boundaries to respond rapidly to any large-scale security breach. Supporting agencies such as NSCDC, FRSC, NIS, and NDLEE will secure critical infrastructure, collation centers, electoral materials, and major access routes. This structure is a force multiplier designed to ensure seamless coordination and situational dominance. Every formation, patrol team, and operational asset is integrated into a central command framework for real-time communication, intelligence exchange, and immediate intervention. The emphasis is on prevention before reaction, ensuring no vacuum exists to mischief or disorder. The responsibility for election security is an exclusive preserve of the federal government and its recognized agencies. Consequently, the Nigerian Police Force hereby issues an immediate and total prescription on the activities, operation, or assembly of any non-state or state-controlled quasi-security formation during the election period. This includes, but is not limited to, the so-called Ibubago and other unauthorized vigilance outfits. This directive issued in strict concordance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, particularly Section 91 Sub 1 and 120 Sub 1, which vests exclusive authority for securing public peace and maintaining order during elections in the Nigerian Police Force, and expressly prohibit any other individual or group from performing such security functions. Any contravention of these provisions constitutes a direct breach of federal law and shall attract severe sanctions. In this regard, the Nigerian Police Force remains particularly alert to the activities of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its militant wing, the Eastern Security Network, ESN. Intelligence reports indicate that these elements are making attempts to impose unlawful restrictions, enforce it-at-home orders, and create fear among residents to disrupt the electoral process. Such actions are clear actions of criminality and treasonable defiance of the Nigerian state. Let it be clearly established that no group, armed or unarmed, overt or covert, has the authority to dictate movements, obstruct lawful voting, or undermine the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Any attempt by IPOB, ESN, or any other non-state actor to interfere with the forthcoming election shall invite an immediate, coordinated, and overwhelming law enforcement response. Precision-targeted intelligence operations are already active to identify, isolate, and dismantle any network or individual plotting acts of intimidation or violence. The Nigerian state will respond firmly, lawfully, and conclusively. The peace of Anambra State shall not be negotiated. Furthermore, any person or group found bearing arms, brandishing instruments of intimidation, or performing unauthorized security duties outside recognized federal agencies shall be treated as an armed non-state actor. Such persons shall be swiftly neutralized, arrested, and prosecuted under the Firearms Act, the Criminal Code, and the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. This remains an operational red line that will be enforced without hesitation. The Nigerian Police Force has activated a zero-tolerance enforcement protocol to ensure total compliance with the Electoral Act and related laws. Our professionalism will be matched by decisiveness, our restraint by precision. Electoral offenses will be treated as criminal violations of national security, not mere political misconduct. Offenses such as ballot snatching, vote buying, thuggery, or voter intimidation are felonies under the Electoral Act 2022. Officers are under strict instruction to effect immediate arrests based on prima facie evidence and to ensure diligent prosecution through the Electoral Offenses Desk, already activated across the state. The objective is simple: to deter misconduct through swift and exemplary enforcement. In addition, specialized cybercrime units are deployed to monitor, trace, and counter digital misinformation and coordinated online propaganda aimed at disrupting public peace or discrediting the process. Those who weaponize misinformation to incite violence will be traced, apprehended, and prosecuted under the Cybercrime Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act. The following election day protocols are binding and enforceable under federal law. 1, VIP movement. No political appointee, candidate, or VIP is permitted to move with armed escorts or security aids to polling or collation centers. 2, personnel mobility. Only accredited INEC officials, election observers, and journalists may move freely between designated areas. Party agents and security personnel must remain within their assigned jurisdictions. 3, prohibited conduct, campaigning, partisan display, or any act capable of causing provocation within the vicinity of polling units is prohibited. Possession of any weapon or instrument of intimidation will attract immediate arrest. To all political parties, candidates, and campaign managers, the responsibility for peace rests heavily upon you. The Nigerian Police Force will hold political leadership directly accountable for the conduct of their supporters. Campaign with honor, persuade rather than provoke, and remember that power attained through violence is illegitimate and unsustainable. To our traditional, religious, and community leaders, your moral authority remains vital. Use it to dissuade our youth from being instruments of political violence and to strengthen community vigilance against divisive rhetorics. Finally, to the good people of Anambra State, the Nigerian police force stands before you as the shield of the Constitution. On 8th November 2025, exercise your right to vote freely and fearlessly. We shall protect your lives, your votes, and your voices. Our mission is clear: to defend the law, preserve peace, and uphold the sovereign will of the people. Order will be our salute. God bless Anambra State. God bless the Nigerian Police Force. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the DIG, Ben Okolo, representing the IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, PhD, NPM. All right, moving on. At this point, straight to the point, we are calling on stage the Kukah Center, Secretariat of the NPC, for the presentation of emerging issues. Barrister Asabi, over to you. Clap now. Police there, they got arrest, we no clap. Oh.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the good people of Anambra State. I'm here to make a quick presentation on our findings at the Secretariat of the National Peace Committee on the electoral and political landscape of Anambra State. But before I start that, I'd like to reiterate a very important point. The signing of the peace accord goes beyond the optics that we see here today. The contents of the peace accord is a reflection of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Electoral Act, and other extant laws. And that is why we have the INEC and the Nigerian Police Force as signatories to the accord, so that the infringements to this accord can be enforced by these important stakeholders. So I just wanted to state that fact before I proceed. Thank you. So this is pre-election analysis of Anambra State. Ahead of the signing of this accord today, the National Peace Committee Secretariat, the Kukah Center, has been in Anambra since the month of June, when campaigns officially kicked off. And we have carried out a few interventions. I will start. The first one, we have a coordination and structure. We have established an independent state peace architecture to coordinate peace-building efforts in Anambra State. We have also had stakeholder consultative forums with many of you in the room today to align actors and responsibilities ahead of the elections. We have continuously monitored political and security trends in Anambra State, which I will speak to in a few minutes. We have the context and conflict analysis to guide proactive strategies. We have also come up with an election security analysis, which has helped the Peace Committee in its intervention in Anambra State. We have set up early warning and early response system, many of which are here today. We have had media engagements promoting responsible reporting and peace messaging. We have socialized the peace accord with members of the political parties, including the candidates, a few weeks before now. Today we are here for the signing of the peace accord by candidates and party leaders. And after this, we'll be having post-election engagements, should there be a need. But we hope that the elections come up November 8th will be peaceful and credible, and we will not need to have so many interventions. So, excuse me, please. We're waiting for the presentation itself to come up. But I will just quickly speak to some of the things before the presentation comes back on. That at the Kukah Center, we have 3 scopes for election analysis. One is actual election violence monitoring. The second one is monitoring of risks, and I'm supposed to be showing you the risk map of Anambra by now. And most importantly, we have the electoral offenses tracking system, which actually collates data on all the clauses of the peace accord and the infringements by different stakeholders. So unfortunately, I'm not able to show you that slide, and I don't know how soon it will come up. Thank you. But while we're at it, I'd like to mention that based on our own indicators, we've been able to highlight a few places and place them in our risk map. The places that have the highest risk happen to be Ihiala, Orumba North, Orumba South, Agwata, Awka South, and I think that's all. But the local governments that have medium risk include Ayamelum, Dudu Kofia, Anyocha, Nnewi South, Nnewi North, Idemili South, and Onitsha South. Now, the places that have the lowest risk would be Anambra West, medium risk, Anambra West, Anambra East, Oyi, Idemili North, and Njikoka. So while I'm not able to show you that, I don't know what has happened. This is a glitch, but please permit me. We've also had prevalent electoral offenses. Of all the electoral offenses we've gathered, we have thuggery and intimidation. 22% of what we've gathered is on thuggery and intimidation. We have 16.7% on vote trading. We've had targeted attacks by gunmen, 13.9%. Top on the list, generally on electoral offenses, include disinformation, vote buying, electoral manipulation, thuggery, political violence, voter disenfranchisement, and religious incitement. Okay. My sincere apologies for the technological problems. So this is the risk map that I was speaking about. I've already spoken about this. Can we move to the next slide? So we've had a zonal analysis of Anambra State because we've been in conversation with the 3 senatorial zones, and some of the things that we've some of the things that we've noted. Okay. For want of time, since most of you have the document, I'll just conclude by saying, can we go to the conclusion? The last slide. So India Anambra has the wisdom, courage, and the resilience to rise above tension. Peace is a deliberate choice. Today at the NPC Secretariat, we urge you to let peace and dignity be the defining character of this election. The responsibility is yours. The moment is now. Let India Anambra rise to the occasion. May God bless Anambra State, the light of the nation. Thank you.
We can actually do better, please. All right, without wasting much time, it's time to do the business of the day, which is the video recording of the Peace Accord.
2025 Anambra State Peace Accord on the acceptance of election results and prevention of violence by gubernatorial candidates and chairpersons of political parties contesting the 2025 off-cycle election in Anambra State under the auspices of the National Peace Committee, NPC. I, the undersigned gubernatorial candidate and chairperson of the underlisted political party contesting in the 2025 Anambra State gubernatorial election, reaffirm my commitment to take proactive measures towards the creation of a conducive environment for the conduct of free, fair, credible, transparent, and verifiable election in line with Section 14, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to the effect that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on principles of democracy and social justice. Cognizant of the need to maintain a peaceful environment before, during, and after the 2025 off-cycle election against the backdrop of Sections 92, prohibition of certain conduct at political campaigns, 93, prohibition of use of force or violence during political campaign, 125, disorderly conduct at elections, 126, offenses on election day, 128, threatening and the general electoral offenses in Part Electoral Act 2022. Reaffirm my commitment to fully abide by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to respect the rules and regulations as laid down by the Electoral Act 2022 and the regulations thereto, and to adhere to the best international standards and best practices of our democratic process. Desirous of sustaining and promoting the unity and corporate existence of Nigeria as an indivisible entity in line with Section 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, determined to avoid any conduct or behavior that will endanger the political stability and security of Anambra State and Nigeria, especially treason and sedition, under Sections 37 and 51 of the Criminal Code Act, mindful of my responsibility to be honest, factual, and protect the Anambra people and their democratic rights, and determined to place national interest above personal and partisan concerns. I hereby commit myself to the following. 1. To support a peaceful, transparent, and credible electoral process according to the principles of democracy in Section 14, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Article 21, subsection 1 and 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, and Article 23 of the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance. To accept and abide by the outcome of the 2025 Anambra State off-cycle gubernatorial election, and if issues should arise, I will deploy constitutional means and appeal to the courts in line with Section 285 of the Constitution and Section 134 of the Electoral Act 2022, rather than other unconstitutional means. 3. To support all institutions party spokespersons, members and supporters refrain from intimidations, incitements, bribery, vote trading, and violence in subversion of the electoral process that may compromise the integrity of the ballot and the security of Nigerians and non-Nigerians before, during, and after the elections by avoiding acts criminalized in Part 7 of the Electoral Act 2022. 5. To respect that the results can only be announced by INEC as provided in Section 25 of the Electoral Act 2022, and to accept the outcome of the ballot by the provisions of the law, and where aggrieved, to use lawful and legal means, especially as provided in Section 285 of the Constitution, 65 and 134 of the Electoral Act, to seek redress. 6. To ensure that I, my spokespersons, party spokespersons, members and supporters refrain from disseminating fake news, misinformation, and this information verified by INEC, the National Peace Committee and its partners, as prohibited under Section 123 of the Electoral Act. 7. To condemn, publicly and privately, instigators and perpetrators of all acts of discrimination and violence based on gender, ethnicity, belief, age, and political affiliations in accordance with the fundamental right to freedom from discrimination guaranteed under Section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Article 2, Subsection 1, and 25 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. 8. In the event of any electoral dispute that may arise, to follow due process by resorting to the courts of law and to act in a spirit of statesmanship, putting Anambra State first before individual or party interest in line with the procedure provided in Section 285 of the Constitution and Sections 130 to 140, Part 8 of the Electoral Act 2022. 9. To cooperate with the National Peace Committee, a body made up of respected statesmen and women, traditional and religious leaders, in its mission to monitor adherence to this accord. 10. To abide by the letter and spirit of this accord, and if my actions and utterances or those of my party or supporters violate the principles of this accord, I accept that I and my party be held accountable in accordance with the laws and Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 11. To accept the full application of national and international laws against any subversion of the electoral process, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance, among others. God bless Anambra State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We're going straight to the business of the day, and this is the zenith of our gathering today. The essence of the video recording was just so that we understand what we're signing. And so thank you so much for your patience and understanding. At this point, please permit me as we invite to moderate the session, the convener of the National Peace Committee, Lord Bishop, the person of Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kukah, OON. Please a round of applause. As comes forward, please a round of applause. We can do better. Can do better. Thank you. Thank you. And then quickly we call on the parties. Usually, as we do, in the spirit of neutrality and independence, we go based on alphabetical order. And so we'll follow suit. As we call your party, please just come forward and then you do the signing very quickly. And then we'll go straight to the handshake and embrace. So quickly, let's go.
So when you do sign, please do stand by. We have Chief Onyeze Chidi Charles for Accord Party. Nweke is Chukwu Jeffert for
We can call
Action
at once. As we call you, just come
Alliance.
at once to save time. Thank you.
Ife Melodike Chioma Grace for the African Action Congress. Please, when you come up, do sign and stand by. Nwosu Chima John for the gubernatorial candidate of the Action Democratic Congress, ADC. Okachukwu Nicholas for the All Progressives Congress, APC. Soludo Charles Chukwuma, the Executive Governor of Anambra State and gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Oti Cyprian Echezona for the Allied People's Movement, APM. Please, when you sign, do you stand by? Nweke Christopher Chukwudubem of the Action People's Party, APP. Okeke Chika Jerry of Boot Party. Chief Dr. George Nadubim Moralo of the Labour Party. Colonel Professor Geoffrey Onyejebu of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Honorable Ndidi Christie Olie, the National Rescue Movement, NRM. Chief Ezenwafo Jude of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Chukura Vincent of the Social Democratic Party, SDP.
Just to emphasize too, please, chairman and candidates, please. There's a place for chairman to sign and candidates. So quickly, please. Thank you very much.
So please, if you're a party chairman, please
and
do come up.
Thank you.
And sign alongside your candidate. If there's a chairman but the candidate is not present, you can as well come up stage. Sapol Chukwuma of the Young Progressives Party, YPP. Are you a party chairman? Sir Ugwoji Uchenna Martin of the Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. Please, when you're done signing, do stand by. And as well, we are calling on the Honorable Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Not now. His own is at the end, though. His paper is at the end. Okay. Professor Joash Ojo, Amupitan, SAN. And as well, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Betokun, PhD, NPM, represented by DIG Ben Okolo.
So as we are very much aware, the major weaknesses, two of them, the Inspector General of Police and the INEC Chairman will sign. We invite General Aguai, Martin Lutua Aguai, to come forth. The IG of Police, please. This way, sir. Yes, thank you. Let's go to the front. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. 2025 Peace Accord, signed by political parties, chairmen, candidates. It's not just a ceremony, it is a commitment.
This is the reason we're here.
Please can we come forward for the picture?
The party candidate should please come forward, just right in front of the table, so we can have a group picture and embrace, handshakes. But for now, let's take a picture. All candidates,
picture, the people of Anambra State watching closely to know those who truly stand for peace. And that is why we are here.
Please, media men, can you move back a little? We know that this moment is an important time. You can go back a little. It won't. Onye say, Ibeye say. Okay? Thank you. Handshakes, embraces. We are sure that the November 8th election is going to be a peaceful election. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. We can now go back to our seats after the embrace and handshake. Okay, while we wait to take the remarks, please, there is a phone. If you found the phone close by that is not yours, please, the phone. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. That simply means that we are all good people.
Of course, we are good people. We are good people.
All right, so we go straight to, in the next 5 minutes, we are done with the event. We have peace messages from Comrade Chief Uchenna Ugoji, the chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council, Anambra State.
Just in a few seconds.
And after that, we have the convener speak, and then we have His Excellency speak to us. And after that, the event can officially come to a close.
Please, if Comrade Chief Uchenna Ugoji, the chairman, Inter-Party IPAC Anambra State, if he's here, you should please come up stage just in a few seconds, because in a very short speech, please. Very, very short.
Very brief, so that to save time. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, Comrade Chief Uchenna Ugoji, Chairman, IPAC Anambra State, please just, sir, Biko, I get the chafo. Do you want to tell
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please, may I stand on the existing protocols? A peace message delivered by the chairman, Anambra State Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, at the occasion of Anambra State gubernatorial election peace accord on November 3rd, 2025. The chairman, His Excellency General Abu Salam Abubakar, retired GCFR, heavily represented by General Martin Luther Agwai. The Executive Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, and other gubernatorial candidates here present. The traditional rulers, the security agencies, my Lord, spiritual and temporal Bishop Kukah, you are highly welcome in Anambra State. Gentlemen of the press, the INEC chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this arena for the purpose of signing peace accord period to the Anambra State gubernatorial election coming up on Saturday, November 8, 2025. It is in recognition of the importance of this election that INEC and political parties have deemed it expedient to enter into this peace agreement with a view to making the election free, fair, and credible. It is also in line with this that we of the IPAC, in exercise of our duties, have decided to offer some pieces of advice aimed at making that peace is realizable. Peace, as we may be aware, is abstract with a wide spectrum of meanings. But for the purpose of this function, I shall narrow it down to a few practical terms to it. Tranquility, serenity, law, order, freedom from interference, non-violence, friendship, goodwill, and equanimity, and we enjoy all the gubernatorial candidates, political parties, security agents, INEC officials, and the electorate to operate in concert in achieving all these peace prerogatives. A, the electorate. We appeal to our enlightened electorate to maintain an atmosphere of serenity, tranquility, and non-violence, shun all forms of inducement. Security agencies. We urge the security outfits to maintain a high level of professionalism in the maintenance of law and order, refuse to be used as agents of intimidation or harassment. INEC officials, you are the umpire and the pivot of all whole electoral process. On your shoulders rest fairness, smoothness, credibility of the election. It is imperative that you achieve these feats by plugging all loopholes, including but not limited to the following. Making sure that the polling cubicles are spacious enough to enable the voter go in, thumbprint, inside the ballot paper into the ballot box provided therein, thereby curtailing the chances of inducement and vote buying. Employment of other regular security operatives like the Nigerian police and others of the federal establishment in the maintenance of law and order. Provision of neutral grants for collation of results where the local headquarters used and no political party or its officers influences the entry or exit of electoral personnel or material or the actual collation of the results. Gubernatorial candidates. All the peace accord and the electoral process will come to nothing if you are not disposed to accept the outcome of the election when it is free and fair. This does not imply that you should not seek redress if you are genuinely not satisfied with the conduct of the election. All I am saying is that you should resist the temptation of inciting your supporters to violence and the destruction of public peace and unnecessary litigations. Instead, accept the outcome with equanimity, outstretched hands of friendship, accord and concord. In conclusion, it is worth reminding you that Anambra State is the light of the nation. As such, its light shall reflect, radiate, and expel all forms of darkness, of which fraudulent election is one. Thank you, and God bless you. Chief Uche Ugwo-Joseph, the chairman, IPAC Inter-Party Advisory Council. And again, I want to tell you people, the audience, that Anambra State, we are all brothers and sisters. And we also beg the INEC, the police, to help us seriously so that we brothers will not be fighting ourselves. We are brothers. And there's only one person that wins the election. So if the INEC help us, if the police help us in conducting free, fair, and credible election, this accord we signed today will be effective. And we are brothers. And we'll tell you, or we'll bet you, that we are not going to fight ourselves. We are not going to kill ourselves. Anambra State is the light of the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our able chairman. Thank you for that. Very quickly, we go straight to the next on our program of events, and that is a peace message from the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, also the convener of the National Peace Committee, in the person of Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kukah, OON. Please, a round of applause as he comes forward. I was actually thinking we wanted to clap more. A round of applause, we can do better for the bishop.
If I had come after the INEC chairman, it would have been easier. We really need to be adjusting all these microphones. So next time you break protocol and call us according to height, so that there will be no need arranging and rearranging this. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think the hard work has already been done. First of all, I want to congratulate the government of Anambra State, because the last time we came,